Today I'm going to take you through what it looks like to work with me as a social media marketer, and if you hire me or if you consider me for a similar role, what it will take to achieve the results that you want. I'll take you through the entire process, from the research and everything to understanding the competition and eventually to turning this content into profitable return on investments. So I'm going to use a fictional company for this presentation so that you can just understand what it takes. So let's get right into it, and thank you for your time. So as you can see here on the screen, I'm going to name this strategy: building trust in global money movement. This is a strategy that I built for SwiftBridge Financial, which as I've said is a fictional brand in the fintech space, but I'm just going to elaborate what steps it takes to build a social media marketing strategy for similar institutions in the SaaS space and in the fintech space and all. So the first thing that we want to define for the client, whenever I get a client and whenever we start working together, is the objective of the strategy that we are going to create. So for this one is, for instance, this one is to build a strong online presence for SwiftBridge Financial by connecting with the target audience through authentic, relatable, and action-driven content. So as you can see, this strategy will focus on positioning SwiftBridge Financial as a trusted cross-border financial partner through platforms like Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube to increase social engagement and build a loyal following. So once this is defined, we can know which direction we are taking as a content team, and then we'll be focusing on these last objective to ensure that the content, the entire content journey is relating or is built from this foundation. So I just broke down the objective into 4 steps that we will be referring to as we build the content throughout this the process. And one is to build a strong online presence, and then we connect with the audience, with the target audience, and then we build from specific platform goals and objectives, and then finally we ensure that the entire process aims at increasing engagement and building trust and loyalty. So this is basically what this strategy is going to achieve, and we will be referring to this objective from time to time to ensure that everything aligns with the client's needs according to what they described through the objectives. So this is just a brief description of the company, and this is important because it helps us also understand, as we are building a content strategy, are we aligning with the company's culture, the company's principles, and everything in between to ensure that content that is created speaks as though the company itself is speaking. SwiftBridge, as we have said, is a fictional fintech solution that I just came up with to help understand the processes that we are going to build. It specializes in secure cross-border transfers with multi-currency support and enterprise payment tools designed to remove the complexity of global transaction. So it's all about streamlining the global payment processes, and this is what the content will also measure or narrow down on. The content that we're going to build for this company is going to revolve around unique selling propositions going forward. So now then, after we understand what the company is, then we'll go on to research the audience to know what audience are we going to target based on the information that we already have about the company and what they do and the solutions that they offer. So the target audience here, based on these companies' foundation and areas of specialization, will be 3 main audiences. And this one will include growing SaaS startups, enterprise SaaS companies with global operations, and B2B SaaS platforms and subscription businesses. So growing SaaS startups are basically the fast growing SaaS companies that are looking to expand into the international markets, but they struggle with multi-currency payments, global subscriptions, and all that. So we are looking to ensure that this group of businesses are not going to struggle, because SwiftBridge International is bringing the solutions back up to their doorsteps that can help them streamline payments and ensure safe and fast multi-currency payments and global subscriptions and cross-border financial operations are achieved within their expectations. So with that done, we can then also go to the second target audience and the third target audience and understand what these target audiences expect from a financial institution like SwiftBridge, and then now we will coordinate, will interlink their expectations with what the company is offering to ensure that we are now generating content that align with them, and that will give birth to the research and analysis stage. So after we understand what the company offers, and then we now know the target audiences that we are expecting to reach to, then now we come to research and analysis based on the data that we have on the data that we already have. We can now define the characteristics of the growing SaaS startups, and then define the characteristics of the enterprise SaaS companies with global operations, and also define the characteristics of the B2B SaaS platforms and subscription businesses. And once we know what characteristics, what defines this set of target audiences, then we can now look at the target demographic. What is the age group what is the age group of founders and startup operators in the SaaS startups? What is the average age of the enterprise SaaS founders or companies with global operations? What is the age of the finance executives, the CFOs, the operation directors, and all the people, the leaders in these setups of target audience? And the same for the B2B SaaS platforms and subscription businesses. Once we understand that, we then go to check the most probable locations of SaaS businesses that will actually turn into paying customers for startups. So we look at those areas, see how the people in the startups in those areas behave, and then gather any relevant data that will help us to actually and basically formulate the best content strategy for this kind of client. We'll also check their most used platforms, which is very important, because this now will inform where we'll be posting our content, how we will be posting it based on the consumer expectations. And that's why we are doing all this breakdown, to understand the basic requirements for us to generate content that will actually convert. After that, we'll then go to check competitors, or what competitors exist in this area. Like, for example, in this case, we had two fictional competitors for the group that we are, for the company that we are going to work for. And these competitors are already, what we are going to check actually is what they're already doing as regard to social media marketing. And in this case, we shipped out their LinkedIn pages to see how are they posting, what is it that they are doing that we can borrow from, and what are the strategies that are already in place, what are the strategies that are not already in place that we can now capitalize on. And this is why I came up to break down their strengths and the strategies that they're already using. And then after that, we came now to check the limitations that exists in their content production processes, and these limitations that will inform the opportunities that SwiftBridge Financial can capitalize on, or rather optimize on, to beat these competitors. For example, you can see GlobePay Connect social media marketing limitation. They have less emphasis on compliance, security strength, security depth, and enterprise grade trust signals. And so the way that SwiftBridge can capitalize on this is to put more emphasis on compliance, security depth, and enterprise grade trust signals, so that when people are looking for that specific solution here and they don't find it, then they can find it here, and many other things that these other people misses. And then we can stand out as not just as an authority, but as the go-to financial institution, global payment institution that they can trust for their businesses at whatever level of growth or whatever level of expansion the business exists in. After we're done with the analysis of competitors, then we can go to the primary goals and KPIs. These ones are basically what the client wants us to achieve at specific periods of time, but most of the time I do based on what the client is already achieving and the gaps that exist. I can always come up with those primary goals or other key performance indicators that will help monitor our operations and to help ensure that we are tracking the progresses that of what it is that we are achieving. For example, for these we can come up with something like, I want to increase LinkedIn engagement by 30% in 2 months. So whatever processes we take, whatever approaches we take with the LinkedIn content, I must ensure that in 2 months we have achieved a 30% increase, so much to measure progress and all that. We also have something like to grow Instagram followers by 50% in 3 months, and then generate 500 pieces of user generated content via branded hashtag campaigns across all platforms. So this is just an example of what our primary goals may look like, and then the key performance indicators to show that we are achieving or to getting towards our primary goals. And some these KPIs may look like something like follower growth across LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. We can now start seeing followers growing across all those platforms. Then we can start seeing increasing engagement rates such as comment, likes, and shares, to just indicate that whatever things that we are already doing, whatever things that we are investing in are now yielding fruits, and that we are moving in the right direction. So as a client, you can trust that when you see any of these movements or traffic or things or changing in performance and all that, then you can trust that with time we'll get to achieve the primary goals and then achieve your common growth and increase in ROI and all that. Then after that, we just go straight to the content pillars. How are we now going to approach content production and approach the entire process of ensuring your social media marketing is coming into life? So just go to break down all this to understand how are these content pillars going to play a part in ensuring success. So for instance, if you see product education and feature spotlights, what are the content types under this pillar? So we have something like platform walkthroughs, we have new feature launches, and tips for maximizing product benefits. So for example, you can have a LinkedIn post on how to send international payments in 3 steps with pictorial demonstration. This can educate the target audience and help them understand things that they might have struggled to understand before. And this is a very good type of content, or this is a very good approach to ensuring that your audience are educated and they understand the features of the products that you're presenting to them, and building that trust before you can then call them into maybe working with you or taking action and all that. Then we can go to the second pillar, which is interactive and engagement content. What type of content can we use under this pillar to make sure that clients or target audience are trusting your organization and trusting your system? These can include QA sessions, polls and quizzes, financial trivia for this case, because it's a fintech industry. For your industry, can be real estate quizzes or trivias. Depending on the industry that you operate in, you can always customize this to ensure that it meets the client. It helps you as a client to reach the target audience and to help them understand your business and your solutions better. So an example of an interactive and engagement content we can use here is an X poll or Twitter poll on the topic, what matters most when making international payments? Is it speed, low fees, security, or reliability? So such a poll can help increase engagement, and people can now contribute and generate even content themselves and share, which can now then bring more people into your website and your social medias and all that, to just create awareness and then build that base of customers that you can target, and use that as an opportunity to now reach them more with more content and all that. Then there's customer success stories. We can use content types like case studies, user generated content, customer testimonials, and business growth stories. An example is a customer post or screenshot highlighting the experiences. This one can be in Facebook, Instagram, and all that. Then we have the thought leadership and expert perspective. The content type under here can include things like founder opinions, predictions about fintech trends, because this is about leadership and expertise. So it can help audiences understand where the industry is going and all that. LinkedIn style expert articles. These are just things or types of content that can help your audience understand the industry, where it goes, if there are any risks in global payments and all that, so they can know how to make financial decisions and how to choose the best solutions for their businesses. So an example here will be a LinkedIn post where the payment experts will break down the future of embedded finance, and this one will help businesses that do not already understand or do not yet understand what embedded finance looks like, to understand what it is, and then make decisions that will benefit their businesses and also benefit you as if they choose to work with you. The other content pillar is security, trust, and compliance types of content, where these content types might include fraud prevention tips, security explainers, compliance updates, and data protection content. A good example would be a certification and trust badge announcement on Facebook. When you get certified, or when you get your business get cleared for some high level of operation, you can then share those certifications and badges on Facebook to just show that you are compliant to regulations, and also that to build that trust and authority among your target audience. The next content pillar will be community and brand culture. This is important in showcasing your business as a community responsible business, a business that is concerned about what is going around its surroundings and environments. And you can use types of contents that you can publish here include team spotlights, behind the scene content, and company milestones. This can be something like a TikTok post for a day inside the customer support team during a product launch. It's just a way to show how your business engages with the community around, and how you as a company also have a human side of doing things, so that the people can relate with you much more closer and much more easier. And the last pillar will be conversion focused content, and this one content types that mostly work well in this pillar is limited time offers, webinar registrations, lead magnets, product comparison posts. And an example would be Instagram limited time offer post, which you can use to urge customers to sign up this month and enjoy reduced transaction fees. These are now the type of content that you share with your clients to help them now take action. After that, now we can only just look at a brief look at the platform specific strategies. This one will vary widely based on the industry, the business structure, and your budget and all that. So it's not something that is grounded on stone. So once we come to an agreement and you've chosen the platforms that you want to work with, we can then now come with the platform specific strategies like this. For instance, we had Instagram, we had Facebook, we had LinkedIn, and then we had TikTok and Twitter X. So these are the platforms that right with this for this business are the best platforms for them to share their content and to meet the target audiences. So for Instagram, for instance, we had a posting schedule of 5 times a week, and then the content type will include stories, reels, carousels, and these ones will vary depending on what is trending at the moment and what it is that we want to communicate in that time. For instance, for stories, we can use team spotlight, remote culture content such as photos or videos for team events. volunteer activities or virtual meetups. Just share stories about what's going on in the company and team spotlights, and just make the target audience to relate with the company that they are already building something with a relationship with. And this one can keep the company in the eyes and in the minds of the audience every time that they think of such a product, every time that they think of a fintech solution that they maybe want to use. Then these constant stories, reels, and carousels will just help keep the client in the face of their target audience. Facebook as well, we have specific schedules for Facebook, and this for this client it was 3 to 5 times a week. And in Facebook we have native posts. Just these include written posts with the myth versus fact post, like myth versus fact post, certification or trust badge announcement, and something like that. And in for example, we can share a myth. A post like goes, a myth: digital payments are easier to hack. Then fact: multiple security layers reduce risk. And then we present cases for and against the myth, and then we let the people contribute in the comment sections and ask questions and all that. And this just increases engagement and also helps people to reach out on a personal level through the inboxes and all that, so that they can get to understand whatever it is that they have believed as a myth before. And then we can help them to demystify those myths and help them understand the facts that exist. And that will build trust, that will build a relationship that they can then use to buy our products or solutions in the future. Reels, carousels will have the same effects. Then we can go to LinkedIn as a professional website. Here we can do 3 to 5 times a week for this fintech company. And these ones can include native posts, reels, and then articles. Articles here can be things like compliance update, industry trend analysis, such as the 5 fintech trends that will reshape in the international payments in the next year. So this will help the readers to understand what is going on in the industry, and also to contribute and ask questions and build a community around the company that they are already trusting and looking up to when it in regards to fintech solution. TikTok, this one's just short videos and solution offering solutions and information about the company and the things that happen on the day to day. They can include reels of the day in the life of day in the life content types, such as day inside the customer support team during a product launch, so people can see what goes on behind the scene, or what goes on in the company, that makes sure that they are getting the solutions that they are enjoying as the customers. And so is X or Twitter. A posting schedule here can be 3 to 5 times a week. It can include polls, news posts, and countdown or prediction posts, depending on the target audience and the solutions that you want to achieve through this platform. And that's much more about it. You can always ask any questions. Let's talk about what you can help you achieve. And I hope really to speak with you soon and to see you revamp your content so that you stand out as the business that people can run to